Hello all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming Rhinar Armory deck. I wanted to take a second to talk about the upgrade paths from the Armory deck. I think that it's a really good place to start. I want to help more people get into this hero. We've got some new power cards and some support for the very first hero in the game. So with that, let's talk about it. Here is the Rhinar Armory Deck list straight from LSS. We've got some new equipment. Got Echo Cask, Battle Worn 1. When you beat chest, you may pay a resource, destroy this. If you do, draw a card. Very, very strong. Goliath Gauntlet reprint. Romping Club is the signature weapon. Fork of Vin is basically Battle Worn 1 Heart and Cross Strap. And then the Trampling Trackers, which are Temper 2, and you may destroy it to create an agility token when you cast. So the legs, arms, head are all triggered whenever you beat chest, allowing you to set up some pretty powerful turns. Romping Club is a above Guardian rate weapon. It's a 2 for 4 or a 2 for 5. It's super, super powerful. And then get into the main deck cards. So new powerhouse card, Bear Destruction, says beat chest. And this attacks if you've beaten chest this turn and you don't control chest equipment. This gets go again, and your next brute attack gets +2. So, this is a very powerful card. I want to lean into it and leverage it as much as I can in these new builds. And then we have a bunch of beat chest stuff to synergize with all that. There's a Beast Within in here, which I am a little bummed about. I wish they had put 3 in here because that's like one of the best cards with beat chest. But the main reason we're here is Alpha Instinct. We have another blue 6 for Rhinar, which is so powerful. It's so amazing. People have been asking for it for years, and it's here. It's a 3 for 6 with no restriction. Unlike Record Romp, which is a 2 for 6, but you have to discard a card. If it's discarded to beat chest, you make a might. It blocks 0, but blocking 0 is actually technically better than not blocking at all because you can get it out of your hand. You can pop an angel or a herald with it if you need to. Like, it's a very solid card. Having 6 blue 6s is literally twice as good as having 3. So, Rhinar players everywhere are very happy, and hopefully the new Rhinar players will be too. But yeah, so I'm going to walk through upgrade paths with this deck for a claw version and a club version. So 2 different versions of the deck. One will be more beat chest focused. The other one will be more focused on going wide, sending big blood rush turn. Yeah, that's basically it. With that, we'll start with our club version at the cheapest tier. So for about 60 bucks, you can upgrade this deck. We will keep all the equipment the same, but we will change some of our deck cards and add a sideboard. So main changes I made here are adding 2 Beast Withins, just because this card is so good. We're adding 3 copies of Blood Rush Bellows. You know it, you love it. This is +2, an Intimidate trigger, and you draw 2 cards. So allows you to push some extra damage with Go Again. It allows you to keep a small hand that pushes damage and also allows you to set up an arsenal in the club build. Just an all-around brute power card. It's super strong in Rhinar specifically because you get that Intimidate as well as +2. To that, I added 2 copies of Sea Legs. We want these like really good cards that synergize with Beat Chest. So we have Massacre, which intimidates. We have 3 Beast Withins, which draw you a new 6. We have 2 Sea Legs, which make a Gold Run token, which banks a Go Again for later. And then we have Alpha Instinct, which, when you discard it, you make a Might token. So the only change I made to the blue base was the inclusion of Sand Sketch Plan, the Rhinar specialization, which is basically Gamble. You can search your deck for a card, then you randomly discard, and if you randomly discard a 6, you get 2 action points. So I think that this card is really, really good. It's a blue block 3, and it helps you with action point economy, which in the club decks I find to be hard. I feel like a lot of the times you're just like sending 2 cards or just sending club. And if you can bank a go again with Sand Sketch Plan or Sea Legs or an agility token from Assault and Battery, being able to send a couple attacks while intimidating is so, so strong. Those are the main deck upgrades I made. And then we add a sideboard to the deck. So I threw in 3 Pulpings for some go again, 3 Barraging Beatdown for more Intimidate, and it's just like 0 for 4. You can line up a couple of these cards. You can send your club for like 15 and they have no cards. It's very, very strong. 3 copies of Alpha Rampage from WTR. It is a double Intimidate, 3 for 9. It's very, very strong. And yeah, I love this card. This is going to help you get over the defensive decks, both of these. This is going to help into the Gravy matchup and just decks without D-Reacts. And then if we need to go into fatigue state, we've got some defense reactions and a remembrance. And then Nullrune Gloves plus Skullhorn is our Arcane Barrier, because they did not include Arcane Barrier in the base kit. This is what I would recommend for that. Yeah, this is $60 for a very, very solid deck for like Armory. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of power and like sort of stack up some big Intimidate turns and do a bunch of damage. You can also do Blood Rush and go 2 or 3 wide if you can line up Agility and Bear Destruction. This is also leveraging all of the Armory deck equipment because it's all super strong. If we're leaning into Beat Chest, we should probably play the Beat Chest payoffs. So the next tier is the like $200-ish tier. The $200 tier is everything that we had before. It is the same deck cards. Our blue base is the same. Our yellows are the same. Leaning into the Beat Chest synergy and trying to send a big Bear Destruction turn and a couple big Blood Rush turns. All of the money is in the equipment for this. Apex Bonebreaker is a 5-value arm. Gets you 2 Might tokens and blocks 3. Scabskin Leathers are the like staple brute leg piece. They are battle worn too, and you can always roll to get out of a bad situation. Scowling Flushbag, one of the strongest hats in the game. On defend, you intimidate, and you can really mess up your opponent's turn. So, this version is fully upgraded with equipment. I'm playing Torque of Vim over Savage Sash to really lean into the chest synergy. You lose about 2 points of armor, but you can really enable the Bear Destruction turns with this card. Once you have all this stuff, you're pretty set to go. Next, we've got the final tier. This is about $300. This is, again, with all the upgraded equipment. Most of our deck is the same, except for cutting down a Red Bear Swing. I'm adding some Savage Feasts, just because this card is very, very powerful with, like, as a Chain Ender to draw you an Arsenal, or a starter with an Agility token or something. It's also just a red 3 block, but the main ads are Savage Feast and then the 2 for 8. So Show of Strength and Swing Big. Both are 2 power, 3 block reds that attack for 8. Show of Strength's got a downside of whenever a 6 or more power blocks it, it gets -1 for each of those defending it. Doesn't happen often. And then Swing Big, you have to give your opponent a Quicken token if they block it out. But if they spend 3 cards or 2 cards on equipment to block it out, they probably can't do much with the Quicken token anyway. So these are the main changes. I've also added Bam Bam. This card is so underrated. It is insane. It's a 3 for 6 yellow 3 block with a wind up effect. You can discard it at instant speed, give your club +1 and on hit destroy an item. It also just is a 3 for 6 on hit destroy an item by itself. This card is so insane in the club builds. It's so insane in the club builds too. I play it in every deck I can. I play 3. It is busted. I can't say enough about this card. it is so much better than people think. So we add Bam Bam. Otherwise, we keep the rest of our yellows the same. Um, in our blue base, we're adding a Reckless Swing just because people try not to go to 2 against Brute because they want to play around this card. Um, it's always good to have. It's a Brute defense reaction. If you can discard a Beast Within with it, you essentially make that card back. You get a new 6 to replace the Beast Within, so it is a 0 for 6 react at that point. Lining that up with a Sea Legs or a Beast Within is very, very, very strong. Otherwise, our blue base is all the same. We've got a bunch of Beat Chest, we've got a bunch of Synergy, we've got extra action points, and then we've got our 6 blue 6s. But yeah, the main difference is adding Savage Feast, Show of Strength, and Swing Big. I shifted the sideboard around as well too. I got rid of the pulping. I feel like at this point, what you need to get through is probably Disruption. So we're playing some Sink Belows, some Alpha Rampages to get over our opponent's defenses, and 3 Splatter Skull and 3 Strongest Survive to take cards from our opponent. We intimidate them and then hit them with the Splatter Skull. We can destroy an intimidated card they own, and if you are able to like snipe a power card randomly with this, it feels so good. It's also a great like Chain Ender. Even playing a couple intimidate cards into this is like, all right, intimidate your hand. Here's 10. They block 3. You just like pick a card and you try to play the game of like what face did they make when you intimidated a card, and see if it was good or bad, and try to hit that one. Then we have our AB3 setup and a Remembrance for Fatigue. So this deck can go to Fatigue really, really well. You have a 4-power weapon, you have a giant fridge, you have a lot of above rate attacks, and like a lot of 3 blocks. You can fatigue most decks in the game with this, or you can go fast. You have a lot of options. So that's something I really like about the club list. It's super flexible in its game plan. It's got a lot of raw power, a lot of above rate attacks, and also just it's highly synergistic. So keep a 2-card hand and send 7, 8, 9, or you can keep a 5-card hand and send like 20. There's a lot of options with this deck, and I'm very excited to like play some Club Rhinar coming up. Some old school Club Rhinar. There's a few different versions of this that you could do, but this is the version I landed on, which was like pretty similar to the Armory deck and really plays into the beat chest mechanic while also just playing some of the really powerful brute cards that you know and love. With that, let's get into the claw version of the deck. This is the other version of the deck. This is the Mandible Claw version. So this is a 2-cost, 3-power weapon. You can have 2 of them, and if you discard a 6, they get go again. So a common play pattern you see is have a hand that's 2 blues, a yellow wind up, and then like a 2 for 6 or a 2 for 8. You discard the 6, intimidate them, you send Claw for 3 go again, Claw for 3 go again, and then you send 6 or 8 to finish up the chain, and deal a lot of damage and disrupt them. So Mandible Claw is kind of the de facto way to build the deck right now. I'm super happy they're printing club support, but I think that this might be the slightly better version of the list, at least based on my experience. I'm excited to really try the club stuff though and give it a fair shake. For $60, what do you get for upgrading the Armory deck? You get Scabskin Leathers, Mandible Claw. We're playing the Goliath Gauntlet, Echo Cask, and Torque of Vim still. We're leaning into the beat chest stuff, but we are also going back to the random discard. So we're playing Bear Fangs. It's a 2 for 8, Intimidate. We are playing Pulping, 2 for 6, Go Again, sometimes Dominate, Attack. Very, very strong. And then we're playing Wild Ride, which is the 2 for 6, Go Again, hopefully, if you don't hit a miss. We're running a lot of these extenders. We're running a lot of things that help us go wide, and we're trying to play as many 2 costs as we can, because we want to go claw, claw, 2 cost as often as possible. That is the main thing. So the main changes from the Armory deck are plus Bear Fangs, we add 3 Pulping, add 3 Wild Ride. In the yellow base, we add 3 Agile Windup, 2 Bam Bam, 2 Beast Within, 3 Blood Rush Bellows. And then in the blue base, we add 2 Sigil of Cycles, 3 Sand Sketch Plan, and I think that is it for the update. So this is a super, super cheap upgrade. For 60 bucks, you can get like most of the power of the regular CC level Rhinar deck. Like, you get all your windups. You get 3 Beast Within. You get 3 Blood Rush Bellows. You get 6 boost 6s. You get Pulping, Wild Ride, Buck Wild, Bear Destruction, Savage Feast. Like, just absolute banger cards. And you get to have one turn where you just pop off with a beat chest. So like getting resource reduction, getting like drawing a card. You can use your Goliath Gauntlet on that turn too. Um, there's just a lot you can do with this deck that is insanely high power for how much it costs. It is so cheap. In the sideboard, I put 2 Alpha Rampage and a Bear Fangs. This is for Intimidate and Going Tall. Buckwild is for Go Again. Our Strongest Survives in red for Disruption. Some extra windups. You can sub these in. I feel like basically just if you want to take out a Bear Swing and an Assault and Battery, just for more windup, more Claw Go Again. And then Nimby and Nimbleism, if you set that up with an agility or roll Scabskin Leathers, it gives you 3 power attack that draws you a blue. So it's like a 0 for 6. It's very, very strong. You can arsenal this, send it with an extra action point, and then pitch the Nimbleism to a Blood Rush or a 3 for 7 or something else. You're going way, way up on value. Also, because the deck does not include AB at the start, we've got Null Rune Gloves and Skullhorn, our AB2 piece. That gives us a lot of game into everything. You'll notice in this version, though, we're not playing defense reactions. That is because we are trying to limit the number of non-6s in this deck. Stat-wise, we're at, let's see, we're at 42 6s, which I think is, like, very, very, very good. That it used to be 39, so now we only have about 18 misses in the deck, which before we had 21 misses. So all your math goes up like 3 points a game on average from this, about 10% less likely to whiff on your pulpings and wild rides. It is a very, very huge, huge thing for us. And that's off of just the back of this one card, Alpha Instinct. But yeah, this is a really great place to start. I would say if you want to do the more aggressive route, I would start here with this version. All right, for the $150 tier, we get access to Savage Sash, which is a Temper 2 equipment that makes your 6 power attacks cost 1 less. If you're able to leverage that by going a few wide, if you get 2 resources on this, it's crazy. It's a very, very powerful card. We also get access to Hide Tanner, which is a Battle Worn 1, and whenever you discard a 6 at random, you can destroy it to make 2 mites. So we're going up about 4 armor in this, and we're still getting that +2 on the arms, and we're getting a little bit more value on the sash, as well as getting to play Scabs and the Echo Cask skill. So moving on from the equipment, we're still playing 3 Bear Destruction. We're adding some Reckless Stampedes. This is kind of a replacement for Swing Big and Show of Strength. It's a 2 for 7, so it's very powerful, but it costs a lot less money than those other cards. It also allows you to opt to dig through your deck faster for your power card. So, like, basically when you see this and you play it and they block, try to put everything on the bottom that is not a Blood Rush Bellow. offensive opt is very, very strong, especially in this deck. Sometimes you're going to lose some clashes because you've got some misses, but like being able to sift those misses is so, so powerful. So we've added 3 Reckless Stampede, added a Skullcrack too to pair with our Pulpings, Wild Rides, and our Savage Feasts and our Bear Fangs. So this one is weird because it doesn't synergize with Beat Chest, but it does synergize with the random discards, like Blood Rush. So you want to try to line it up with a random discard if you can. If you hit it off the top, you're like super stoked. It's just +1 resource for getting discarded. If not, it is a 3 block, 2 for 6. It's just like all the glue in the deck. We also added some disruption, so we added 3 Splatter Skull. I talked about this earlier in the club side. This is 2 for 6, banish or destroy an intimidated card. It's very, very strong. Going Claw Claw Splatter Skull with a discarded wind-up effect is a very effective 4-card hand. In addition, our blue base is basically, or yellow base is basically the same. We've added our Mighty Windups and our Sea Legs and Send Packing. So this card is a yellow 3 for 6 CNC like effect. It's like what we call an off hit, where if they block it out, they get their card back, but if they don't, it stays banished. So this card is insane against the defensive decks because it banishes their defense reaction that they put in Arsenal to stop you from going too wide because you threaten their hand with Intimidate, and says, hey, now you got to block with 2 cards to get that defense reaction back. So it buys you like a whole turn of tempo, basically, if you can hit a D-React and they block it out. So this is an expensive card, but it is so worth it to have in the yellow base. It is just, it's insane. All we have added to this list for $150 is Savage Sash, Hide Tanner, 3 Reckless Stampede, 1 Skullcrack, 2 Splatter Skull, and 3 Send Packing. We've also adjusted our sideboard, just throwing in another Strongest Survive and the 3rd Splatter Skull on this side. I like to have as much disruption as possible in my Rhinar decks. That's just who I am. You can kind of season to taste with whatever you'd like in this spot, but I think that Strongest Survives is one of the best brute cards they've ever printed. So I'm gonna run 3. I'm gonna run 5. Like, I try to run a bunch. Yeah. And this is like pretty close to just like a fully tuned CC deck. So let's get into the final tier. All right, so this is the fully tuned CC deck list for the Claw version of Rhinar. You can get this deck for about $350, which for a classic constructed deck is insanely cheap. It's hard to play this game and like just get into it and be asked to like spend a bunch of money. The like more like meta decks, like Gravy Bones is like $1,000. So is Syndra. Like, these decks are expensive. And this is a really powerful hero that doesn't have a ton of LL points, but is very, very strong. And you can get a fully tuned list for like $300 to $350. Crazy. So what do we get for that final extra little bit of money? We get the Apex Bonebreaker and Scowling Flesh Bag. 2 just insanely valuable equipment pieces. I talked a little bit about them in the club part of the video, so you should have already seen that by now. But what did we change in the main deck? We cut down 1 Bear Destruction just because we're not running Torque of Vim, we're running slightly less Beat Chest cards, so we want to make sure that the ones that we do include are really powerful. If we line them up together, that's great, but if not, we want to kind of like minimize the clunkiness. If you don't beat chest, this is just a 2 for 6. So, I think 2 copies is the correct amount. Allows you for a little more like high rolly potential with this, or like pop off turn in between your Blood Rush Bellows turns. So let's just keep it at 2 for now. We also get the other 2 for 8s, Show of Strength. This gets -1 for each card with 6 or more defending it. Blocks 3, it's red. Into a lot of decks, there's no downside. Swing Big is the same. That is 2 for 8. If it doesn't hit, you get a Quicken token. but if they block it out, they probably only have 1 or 2 cards left, so I don't know how much they can do with the Quicken token anyway. I think James White said this card was a mistake at one point when he printed it, which is very funny to me. And then they give us another one that's even better. So, thank you, LSS. Thank you for giving me what I want. I love this. But yeah, that is the changes in the red base, just adding our 2 for 8s, cutting and bear destruction. In our yellow base, that is the same as the last version. Just got our wind-ups, our beast withins, our blood rushes, and our send packings. And then the blue base is also the same. So our 6 blue 6s and about what 15 other blues. Yeah, so 21 blues is pretty standard. You want to go 21, 18, 21 for the ratios, so keep that in mind while sideboarding. And that sends us on our way to the sideboard. So in the sideboard, I put a Reckless Stampede. Um, it's a good replacement for Swing Big or Show of Strength. You don't have to play those if you have these. These are, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks cheaper than those. So if you don't have those, it's still a 2 for 7. That could potentially be a 2 for 8 if they take 1 damage off of it. So it is very, very worth it to run this card. I'm experimenting with more. If you have them, play them. Yeah. We also keep our 3 strongest survives in the sideboard. We also have a Splatter Skull. Just more disruption. Got the Nimby Nimbleism combo, again, for more damage. And then we add Tear Limb from Limb. So in the blue base, it's a 2-cost blue. Does not block, but you get to draw and discard a random card. You discard a 6, you double the base of your next brute attack, which is very, very good. Intimidate and doubling the base of, say, the 2 for 8s. So if you do Show of Strength, you intimidate once, you can send a Claw for 3, and then you can send Show of Strength for 16. So you can do a, 4 card, 4 or 5 card, 19. 4 card 19 is as how the math works out. It's very, very, very strong. So adding that to get over the defensive decks or just providing another spike turn is very, very strong. Tear Limb from Limb is a great card, and it's also like dirt cheap, so it's a very easy pickup that you can kind of throw in honestly wherever on the upgrade chain. But yeah, this is the kind of fully tuned Rhinar Claw list. I think the Armory deck has got some really powerful stuff in it. We're gonna utilize it. We're gonna try it out and see how it goes. But you can pick up a very, very good version of this deck for like 50 to 60 bucks, either the claw version or the club version. Both very, very strong. Spend 60 bucks and you'll have a very competitive deck. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching the video. I hope that y'all go out there and play some Rhinar. That is the upgraded Rhinar deck tech with 3 different price points for both archetypes. Looking forward to seeing more people excited about this hero who I love. And yeah, comment below if there's a card you're super excited about in the Armory deck, or if you have other ideas on how to build these decks. Like I said, work in progress. This is what I threw together in an effort to just get people interested in playing this hero. This is a great starting point, but you can always change or improve. So, yeah, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.